$1,000 increases, $1,500 increases, whole buildings being evicted.
Prosperity has fallen on the city of Inglewood, California. An NFL team is building a stadium here, while an NBA team is inching towards building an arena in a city that was once considered one of the least desirable cities in California.
Inglewood is the place you want to be. Home prices in Inglewood have surged 63% from 2014 to 2018.
The city of Inglewood is struggling to strike a balance between surging economic development and what many see as inflated housing costs.
Property values in Inglewood are skyrocketing in anticipation of billions of dollars in revenue expected to come to the city over the years. This should be good news for the residents of Inglewood, mostly black and brown. But the statistics that makes the prosperity of Inglewood not so good news for the residents is that over 60% of them are renters.
This time last year I was paying $1,550. January I was expected to pay $1,750. March I was expected to pay $1,875. And for May and June, I was expected to pay $2,000 without paying for the parking.
And also the seniors who have lived for generations here. And now the property values have gone up so high, the taxing and all of that are driving them out of their homes.
So why is Inglewood such a hot commodity?
Because the mayor is wholesaling the entire city. That's really what it comes down to. It is what they call economic development opportunities for the city of Inglewood and being able to take advantage of those things on behalf of the city, as if that's more important than the stabilization of those families who have been the underpinning of what this city has been for decades.
Incorporated in 1908, Inglewood sits in the South Bay region of Los Angeles County. Although it's now known for its black population, Inglewood was once an almost all-white town. For decades, rampant redlining practices kept blacks away from home ownership, not just in Inglewood, but in the neighboring cities in LA County. Black families slowly began moving to Inglewood in the 1960s, triggering another case of white flight. Although blacks have lived in the city for decades, majority of them are still renters. Now, after many years of stable and relatively affordable housing, they are facing surging rent prices.
So the Social Justice Learning Institute anchors a growing coalition of community-based organizations, residents, local businesses, and developers who are committed to community-centered economic development. So what that means for us is we want to see investment come into our community, but we want that investment to lead to economic growth and a strong local economy for the people who live here, right? Folk that have invested years of blood, sweat, and tears building up the city of Inglewood. We want them to be able to benefit from all of this investment and not face significant displacement. So for example, we've had a number of buildings that have experienced significant rent increases, or in many cases rent gouging, right? So we have a number of residents that have seen their rents go up anywhere between 20 to 127%. And so for us, that's deeply problematic when you have these outside investors coming in and buying up entire blocks.
City leaders want to cap landlords at 8% a year, but many renters fear that's still too much.
Wages are not keeping up with the rising cost of rents. Here in Inglewood alone, rents have raised more than 30% in the past 2 years.
Construction can be seen everywhere. Apartment buildings are being updated, and some of them are even being turned into hotels and motels.
So tell us about these empty lots and where we are.
So we are near the intersection of Prairie and Century, and so you can see the stadium beyond there. There's the casino that's on the other side of this building that's happening right here. These vacant lots are where the city currently has an exclusive negotiating agreement with the Clippers in order to build their arena and their facilities and all that type of stuff right here, not in like a scream away from the stadium and right near the casino, and what the mayor likes to call the new entertainment district for the city of Inglewood.
So you've been personally affected by rent increases in Inglewood.
Oh yeah.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, so I got involved with Uplift Inglewood. And mind you, I live in Inglewood, I work in Inglewood, my children go to school here in Inglewood. So this 9 square mile radius city has become like a very, very integral part of my life. And I've been impacted by the rent increases. That's the reason why I got involved with Uplift Inglewood, because the things that they were talking about was stuff that was near and dear to what's going on in my household.
The mayor announced a 60-day extension of an emergency ordinance limiting rent increases and evictions as they draft a more permanent solution. The mayor says his permanent solution will limit rent increases to once per year, protect tenants from evictions without just cause, and mandate relocation allowances for increases that exceed 4%.
So we're over at 4949 West Century, and this is indicative of all the change that's happening in the city. This particular facility used to have all residents who lived in here, but the owner decided, this one and another one that they own, 4821 West Century, decided to turn it into a motel, right? Because of all the speculation as well as the development that's happening with the stadium, prospects of the Clippers maybe coming, the 3 metro trains that are coming to the city of Inglewood, all these influx of people are going to be coming here, and of course the owners want to take advantage of that. So what they decided to do was actually push people out. They've already done it in 4821. They've actually completed that project. They're trying to force people out of this particular facility so they can actually redevelop this one to do the same thing. Make sure you get this part. You want me to come closer? I can come closer so you can get it. Yeah. There you go. That way you don't gotta zoom in. There it is. Uplift Inglewood. We out here.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. I love it. You know, I ain't mad at the construction workers. They just doing their job. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I've been in this building for 11 and a half years. I moved in February of 2008. They gave us a 60-day notice back in March. When the extension of the moratorium happened in April 19th, it was only after getting legal aid involved by Uplift Inglewood that they rescinded the notice, because they never paid attention to our emails asking them to rescind the 60-day notice. So up until October 8th of 2019, we had no problems.
The memorandum, I believe it said that they were not allowed to evict us. It was only a 45-day temporary memorandum, but they wasn't allowed to evict us. They had to relocate us and pay relocation fees if they decided that they wanted to remodel, build, or even change ownerships of the building. Some people didn't bother to do the research, but I didn't have anywhere else to go, so I had to do research before I up and left. 50 days of the 60-day notice, they rescinded the eviction letter once they found out about the memorandum and said, well, that was a mistake. Nobody's got to move. We're not doing anything to the apartments. You guys are fine.
We weren't formally notified that construction was taking place. It was only then when the construction trucks started showing up and they started demolishing the vacant units that we knew they were starting to remodel the property.
About the middle of October, all of a sudden I was waking to sledgehammers and picks going into walls and banging, and I didn't understand what was going on, and I come out. There was a host of demolition team out there just going through every empty apartment, just tearing the walls out.
You know, 1 week is quiet, we're living, you know, our day-to-day lives, and the next week there's nothing but banging, construction, trash, just full-on destruction of the apartment we're living in.
It's been like kind of hazardous, you know, just being around here. I have a 5-year-old son, and he's been getting sick ever since they started. He has a cough that won't go away, as well as me. I haven't been this sick for a whole month straight, ever.
Direct effect it had on me is all the dust, which you can tell I'm kind of hoarse, and I have to keep my nose plugged up because I'm not sure what's in the dust that's flying around all day, every day.
But as far as me, yes, health-wise, I'm sorry. Somebody, let's call the police. Let's call the police, because nobody's trespassing nowhere.
Last thing, what happened right now?
Same thing. Some of the demolition workers just come back. I think it's like 5:30 or 6, about 5:30. Demolition team came back, 2 of the people came back and started filming us standing outside waiting to do this interview, and also harassing us about calling the police, telling us that we're on this property illegally. They're still insisting that we're here illegally and that they're going to call the police.
What makes them say you are trespassing if you have not been evicted yet?
I don't know and don't understand why they haven't been told that we are allowed to be here. And they just keep harassing us and harassing us and harassing us, I guess, until we leave. But I'm not going anywhere until the law says I have to.
And where are people moving? Because I know LA is a super expensive market as it is. So let's say you have your rent raised on you, $500 to $800. Where are those people relocating to?
If you drive right around this corner, you start to see the homeless tents coming up more and more. Drive around this community, you're seeing families living in their cars. Like, the homeless rate is directly connected to the displacement that's happening in our city. And if we don't do the right thing by people, if we're not doing the right thing by making sure that they are housed families, then we're going to continue to see that increase as well. I'm not here to tell people that they can't make money, right? We live in a capitalistic society, so of course there is room for that. But we have to do it in a way that is within reason of the people who have been here, long-standing folks who have been a part of this community for decades. Some of them for, over generations, right?
My situation is I'm the only one working, so I'm living on paycheck to paycheck, so I don't have enough to save up to move out to a different place. So when we moved in here, I basically put everything I had to move in here. And now I haven't been able to save to move out.
People are just trying to survive, man. They're just trying to survive. And our job is try to help them get out of survival mode and into a thriving space so that they can actually contribute and be a part of this movement of change for the better in our community that we're a part of right now.